Hey there, Belmont Bears. We are back here again today to read chapter 17 of Louisiana's Way Home. I keep forgetting to mention in the beginning of these videos that I am reading this book with the permission of Scholastic online for you all during this virtual learning time. So we just want to make sure we're giving credit to Kate DiCamillo and all the other awesome authors that wrote these books. So yesterday we left off where Louisiana had just read that message from her granny. Her granny left. She went to kind of solve the family curse, and Louisiana had just like sunk in that news, you know. And then she goes and she's talking to Bernice, and Bernice tells her about Burke Allen and how he puts the stuff in the vending machine, right, to steal from the vending machine. And then all of a sudden Louisiana gets this idea, and she thinks that Burke Allen might be the person that she needs to go and see. So I asked you to jot yesterday about, based on what you know about Burke Allen, do you think he's going to help her? Do you think he's going to help Louisiana? So kind of be thinking about that as we go into this next chapter, because we're probably going to find out if he helps her or if he doesn't. So we're going to go ahead and read chapter 17 and kind of be building on your ideas. If you want to pause the video, stop and jot while I'm reading, it's up to you. Do whatever you need to do. Okay, here we go. Chapter 17. How hard could it be to find a pink house in the woods? Well, it turned out to be harder than I expected. To begin with, it was dark and I could not see where I was going, and there were trees everywhere and tall grass and mean bushes. Also, it was unnecessarily windy. Something was flying over my head, and I do not think it was a bird. Under the best of circumstances, I have never been able to tell one direction from another, and these were not the best of circumstances. I kept hoping that Clarence would appear and lead me to the pink house and to Burke Allen. In the story of Pinocchio, Pinocchio was lost and walking through the woods, and a blind cat and a lame fox come along and tell him a lot of lies. I made up my mind that I was not going to listen to anyone who told me lies. Of course, thinking about lies made me think about Granny. That is, I thought about the woman who I had once believed to be my granny, even though she was absolutely no relation of mine. I can tell you one thing. Whoever she was certainly a big old liar. I was never ever going to speak to her again, and I hoped that she remained toothless until the end of time. Ooh, I was mad. And also, I was lost. And then I fell into a hole. It was not a deep hole, and that was fortunate, but it was deep enough to make me lose my balance and fall to the ground and drop the letter and the bologna sandwiches. I stood up. My ankle hurt. So I went back down on my hands and knees, and I crawled around in the dark woods looking for the letter and the sandwiches. And because it was dark, it was hard to find anything. And my goodness, I was lonely. I almost wished that a blind cat and a lame fox would show up, even if they were just going to tell me lies. It would be nice to have some company. I crawled around some more and found both bologna sandwiches. That was a good thing. But I could not find the letter. The wind had taken it away. It was gone, gone, gone. Just like Granny. I started to cry. I cried and cried, but since who knew what was going to happen next? I certainly had no idea. And since it seemed like a good idea to keep my strength up in such a dark and windy world, I ate one bologna sandwich, and then I ate the other one. I cried the whole time I ate them. Both sandwiches were very good. Imagine Granny lying to me about bologna! She should have put something in her letter apologizing for all the lies she had told me, including the lies about bologna. And then I remembered that Granny was not my granny, and that I had lost the letter informing me of that fact. I stood up, but it still hurt to stand on my ankle, so I went back down on my hands and knees and crawled over the ground, looking for the stupid letter. I started to cry harder and louder. It was very hard to breathe, and everything smelled like bologna and a little bit like orange cheese. The world was so dark. I don't know that I had ever before encountered such darkness. So you can imagine how surprised I was when a bright light shone out of the darkness and a voice said, "What in the Sam Hill?" I stared into the light. I said, "I'm looking for a letter and a pink house and a boy named Burke Allen." And then I fainted. The next thing I remember is being carried. I smelled something sweet. I said, "What's that smell?" A man's voice answered me. He said, "That's cake, darling." I liked that answer very much. I think that cake is a very good word in general, and that people should use it as an answer to questions more often. Darling is a nice word too. The cake smell got stronger and sweeter, and then I saw the pink house. I was so happy that I must have passed out again, just from sheer joy. Okay, that's the end of chapter 17. We're on chapter 18 now. So she's in the woods and she loses the letter. How devastating is that? Like all the stuff that her granny had just told her about her life and all these really important things, and now it's gone. So she's lost the letter and she's crawling around trying to find it, and then she just sits there and she cries. She cries and she cries and she cries. I want you to think about here, because I feel like this is a really strong envisioning moment. I want you to think about, what are you picturing right now? What do you think is happening? Like, what would you see if you close your eyes to envision in your mind? What would you see happening right now with Louisiana sitting in the forest, having lost the letter, having lost like what seems like all hope, right? So just make a jot about what you're envisioning right now, because it's a really strong envisioning scene, okay? And then tomorrow when we come back, we're going to find out who this person is that picked her up and carried her, and we'll see what happens next. All right, Belmont Bears, I will see you later. Don't forget to share your thinking in the Flipgrid. I'm going to post it on this YouTube video and on your Teacher's Class Dojos as well. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye. See you later.